Assalamualaikum and a good day to everybody who watched this presentation. We continue our lesson. I think this is the last topic of MPU 222, which is impromptu speech. You have done with informative and then followed by persuasive. And this is actually the last type of speech, which is impromptu. The content of our lessons today, we are going to look at the first is definition, second is the step to do impromptu speech, and I'm going to touch a bit about the assignment 3, which is impromptu speech, how we are going to implement it in our classroom, and what is the evaluation that you would take, that I look to evaluate your impromptu speech. All right, before we go further, all right, let's define what is impromptu speech. Okay, impromptu speech can be defined as, a speech which is given with little or no preparation compared to persuasive and informative. You are given ample time. You are given time to prepare your speech outline and a speech tag. But for impromptu, you just given maybe question or instruction or situation, and then you have to you are given maybe 2 minutes to prepare the speaking notes, and you just give a speech based on the speaking note. All right, the advantages is when you use impromptu speech, you can use your personal example or maybe your personal experience to support what you are saying. And the lack is, although you're familiar with the topic, your speech may lack of detail and supporting information, because of course you don't have time to do a research and so on within 2 minute preparation. All right, so this is actually impromptu speech. All right, how to do an impromptu speech in class or in any place that you are evaluated on your skills to do an impromptu speech. Okay, basically the first thing first, when you are given situation or question, you have to understand, all right, the question or maybe instruction or situation given. Okay, the second one is we have to decide on the speech type, or the most important is the organization or the pattern, whether it is chronological, all right, whether it's a problem solution, whether it's a cause effect, or maybe effect cause, or advantages or disadvantages. Okay, for example, chronological, maybe you have to explain about the step to study smart, so you will explain first, second and third, so it's about process, so it's a chronological. All right, or maybe you want to talk about something historical, the history of Malacca. All right, so you will explain what happened to historical Malacca uh, from 1,000 years ago until now. All right, problem solution. All right, maybe you were given a topic like pollution. Okay, the problem is pollution and how to solve the problem, so you're given two things to explain in your speech. Cause and effect, this is, for example, okay, we take an example of vaccination. All right, cause is maybe COVID-19. Okay, so sorry, factors is COVID-19. Cause is actually factors, and effect is what is the effect. Okay, cause is COVID-19. So what is the effect of COVID-19? You will talk about the people, maybe people who are in the high risk, like people who have a high blood pressure or maybe have a kidney problem, might get attacked with these viruses. All right, the economy will be affected. uh, Maybe the education, all right, because when COVID-19 is not controlled, we have to close the school. All right, so the student have to need to do the online classroom and so on, so the effect. Okay, and the factors is COVID-19. The second one is effect and cause. All right, uh, it's actually basically the same, but you will explain the effect first and then the cause. For example, you talk about teenagers, the effect of teenagers who maybe don't have any interest to study. Okay, that's the effect, and you will explain about what is the factor or the cause that make a student not interested to study in school. All right. Okay, so you talk about the first cause, second cause or factors, and so on. And last is advantages and disadvantages. You might choose maybe just advantages or disadvantages, or maybe you can talk both when it comes to like a discussion where you give a positive and negative aspect of certain thing. For example, the advantages and disadvantages of vaccination. All right, or maybe the advantages and disadvantages of online classroom. All right, unless if you choose to make a stand, you choose to whether agree or to disagree, then you can choose only one option or one opinion about certain issues. Okay, right, this is very important step where you have to decide on the pattern or organization of your speech. Okay, second one, after you clear about your organization speech, you can plan on the related main point in impromptu speech. I think the best one is you have to provide a 3 main point only. Okay, that's enough. Then think about introduction and conclusion. Introduction is very easy, where you have to do some sort of greeting, Assalamualaikum and very good morning to the examiner and so on. All right, and then you start introduce your topic. Like for example, today I'm going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of vaccination of COVID-19. Stop. And then you just strictly go to the first main point, second main point, and third main point, and then give example, and then you do some sort of conclusion by restating all the main point. In conclusion, I think vaccination give many advantages and disadvantages to all people in this world. All right, and when you speak, you can actually speak based on the speaking note. You don't memorize it, but you can look at the note that you make. That's the advantages of doing impromptu. But make sure you can understand your handwriting, because some people, when they prepare the speaking note, they can't even read their speaking note because of very poor handwriting. Okay, this is actually basically what I've explained in the previous slide. Okay, how the impromptu speech will look like in diagram. Okay, first you need to have introduction. All right, second you need to have content, and last is conclusion, where content must have at least 3 main point: main point 1, main point 2, and main point 3. uh don't forget introduction. I think you can just sorry, don't forget the transition, main transition from introduction to main point 1. Okay, main point 1 to main point 2. Okay, and until conclusion you should have transition. I think you have use a lot of transition when you do informative and persuasive. I think you are well versed about the transition. Okay, you can use a lot of transition, like first, second, third, or maybe logical connectors or sequence connectors, like in addition, furthermore, beside, and so on. All right. For introduction, you can use just a greeting, like I said, Assalamualaikum and very good morning to lecturer and friend, and then explain the content, like by saying that today I'm going to talk about what. Okay, the benefit of reading. Okay, for example. And then don't forget, after you have discussed all the 3 main points, don't forget to conclude by restate. Okay, don't add a new idea. Just restate. All right, main point 1, 2, and 3 by saying that in conclusion, I have talked about the advantages of vaccination from first, second, and third main point. Okay, so basically this is very easy. You can use this layout in impromptu speech. I think this is quite similar to what we have done in persuasive and informative speech. Yeah, guys. Okay, for your assignment 3, which is impromptu speech, what you need to do is, first you will be given a topic during your turn of presentation. For example, your presentation will be on next week. I will give you on the dot, I mean on the day you are presenting. Okay, No documentation or a visual aids needed, so you don't need to prepare any PowerPoint or speech tag or speech outline. All right, you will be given preparation time in about 2 minutes each of you, and then presentation time within 2 to 3 minutes. All right, I hope it's enough for you to present three main points. All right, and then you may refer to your speaking note when you deliver impromptu speech. All right, so we don't have problem with that. Okay, basically you will be evaluated in three major aspects, yeah, in impromptu. First is content. All right, in content we'll look at whether you have developed your topic well by looking at the transition, whether you use the transition well. All right, I mean the structure of your speech must be very good. All right, has a logical sequence of ideas. Like I said, first, second, and third is basically we look at the transition. All right, whether your speech is sincere or interesting or convincing, okay, this is based on whether you have used your knowledge or experience well in your speech, and the statement in speech are accurate, and before that we look at the originality. Of course, when you do as impromptu, your speech is 100% original, you can get a full mark here. And whether it's accurate or not, like I said, if you have a vast of knowledge, your statement may be accurate. All right, if not sure, maybe you're not really sure, unsure, because sometimes you need to use a fact but you are not sure, then you may be in the stage of very good, not good, maybe not excellent, in a very good stage. All right, we will look also the delivery aspect, which is your gestures, your eye contact with me, your clearly, whether your voice is clearly heard, okay, whether you use pausing, and the most important thing is actually your confidence level when you speak. And lastly, your language, this is actually your grammar and your vocabulary use. And I forgot to put it here is your time management. For example, I give you 2 to 3 minutes, whether you follow that time limit or not. All right, if you don't, if you exceed the time, your time management is not good. All right, so the overall we will total up all the aspect and convert it to a 10%, which is the carry mark of impromptu speech. Okay guys, thank you so much. Okay, this is actually maybe I will give you some topic that you can do it at your home, before we will do at the class in a Q&A session next week. But I just want to give you some overview of impromptu speech. All right, this is actually the topic that I might use. The example, yeah, not exactly the same, but this is actually the how I can, what is actually the example of the impromptu speech topic. All right, for example, the first topic is should people be vaccinated because of COVID-19? All right, second, the benefit of free education. Should teacher use sexual jokes in classroom? The negative impact of social media. Should teenager marry at the early age? Okay, if you look at the question or situation, some of the topic that you need answer or make a stand, for example, should people be vaccinated because of COVID-19? You might say yes or no, and you should give a reason. So the reason of your answer is actually the impromptu speech. All right, differently with the second topic, the benefit of free education. Okay, you have no choice, you have to talk about the benefit, whether of free education. Maybe if you don't like it, you have no option, so you have to say something good, yeah, or positive thing of free education, first, second, and third. All right, this is more to the pattern that we use is advantages, all right, or benefit. Should teacher use sexual jokes in classroom? Okay, if you say yes, why? And if you say no, why? You should have like a reason, all right, and make a stand. Okay, that's the simple thing that you can do. Whether then you present both ideas, I think you should make a stand whether you say yes or no, whether you agree or not. Okay, the negative impact of social media. This is like slide number 2. but you have to talk about disadvantages or drawbacks of social media. Even though maybe you like social media, but if you're given situation, you have to talk or explain about the negative impact. You have to talk about the negative thing of the issue, or in this case social media. Should teenager marry at an early age? Again, you can make an opinion. What is your opinion? Should or should not? All right, maybe you want to present both idea. It's okay. Or it's better for you to make a stand whether you say yes, should the teenager should marry at the young age. Why? First, second, and third. Or you said no, they shouldn't marry at a young age. Why? Because first, second, and third. Or you maybe said yes and no. Why? Because of, okay, you have the reason. Okay, because some of the question you can use both you can present both ideas, but some no. For example, we talk about smoking. Of course, there are just disadvantages of smoking. Maybe it's very hard if you say yes or no. So you cannot say like yes to smoking because of certain thing. You should say no for smoking. Yeah, so you have to use logic and rationale when you answer your question. Okay, so the first thing that you can do is you try to understand the question given, and then decide on the speech structure, whether it's cause and effect, or effect and cause, and advantages or disadvantages, maybe a problem solution. All right, brainstorm three main point. Yeah, three main point that I guess is enough. And please try to use only 2 minutes when you brainstorm the main point. Okay, the content. All right, and then speak in about 3 minutes on what you have brainstormed. Try to include also introduction and also conclusion and your content. All right, and then you are good to go. Okay, this is actually to test your general knowledge, whether you know about the issue given. So like I said, the 5 topic that I gave you is just example, not the top, not exactly the topic that I'm going to use in your impromptu speech. So be careful. Just this is actually exercises to uh, develop your impromptu speech skill. Okay guys, thank you so much. Okay, the conclusion of our presentation today is actually impromptu speech is done actually spontaneously, okay, with little preparation or sometimes no preparation at all. All right, there are a few steps before you do impromptu speech. The first thing first is you have to understand the question or situation or instruction. All right, second, you have to choose the speech structure or pattern or organization, whether it's a cause and effect and a cause of problem solution, or maybe advantages or disadvantages. All right, and last, plan your main point in brainstorm. Okay, generate the ideas, the content of your speech. You don't need to generate your introduction and conclusion because it's very simple. You just do some sort of grading and restate the main idea. You have to focus on the content of your speech. Okay, and lastly, if you're not able to elaborate detail or example, you might replace it and you might relate it, your speech, with your own experience and example. Okay, so because sometimes we have enough knowledge to use or enough fact to use in our speech. So the option we have is you have to use your prior knowledge, your example, your maybe experience to make sure that our impromptu speech looks okay. Okay guys, that's it for today. See you next week. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.